changed different now, got the cheat code. Lottie, I just watching, you ain't got the cheat code. Can't stay the same, yeah, you gotta switch it up. Can't stay the same, yeah, you gotta switch it up. Game changed different now, got the cheat.
All right, welcome back to the Goddess Giselle podcast. If you're new here, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. You are watching episode 12 of this space where I created to really shed light on women making an impact in their communities across the globe. Now, if you're new here, you know that, well, if you're new here, you wouldn't know, but we really want to shed light on women and empowering women. Our voices are so important. And when we shed light on our voices and our stories, we can truly change the world. So, with that being said, I'm so excited to bring you all my next guest. We have Nambi Nine coming to the show. Nambi, how are you?
I'm great. How are you today?
I am doing so good. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad to have you here with us. And I'm loving your look and the yellow. It just looks so pretty on this brown skin. So thank you for just being here today. And Nambi, how are you, first of all? How are you doing today?
I am great today. It's been a long day, but I'm here.
Good. And I want to share with my audience. I actually met Nambi Nine organically, but I would say through the algorithm. It was divine alignment. And so I came across her platform on TikTok. I saw the information she was sharing, and I was just so inspired by her voice and the way that she was explaining some very critical information that women need to hear. But it was coming from her voice, her perspective, her sound. And I was so inspired that I decided to bring her on the show. So Nambi, how long have you been creating on TikTok? Is that new, or have you been on the platform since it started?
Well, I was kind of a late person coming to TikTok. When it started in 2020, everyone was in the house and TikTok was like this new thing to be on.
Mm-hmm.
And I was kind of like, oh, no, that's for kids. No. And then I ended up like somehow downloading it. I was bored in the house and I ended up starting making videos. I want to say end of 2021. Yeah. And then my TikTok blew up in 2022.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
wow. And we're going to get into that, Nambi. And I just love, like I said, organic. This is a very organic conversation. Some of the
Yes.
guests I've had here, I know them from the past, or I've known them across industry, like, pre 2020. But this right here, what we're doing is completely brand new. So I'm very excited to go into our conversation. But before we jump into that, I want to start by asking you, if you could name 3 people who inspire you, who would they be and why?
Well, I know this is kind of cliche to say, but it would definitely be number one, my mother.
Mm.
And the only reason why I say my mother is because I look up to her so much for bringing children into the world. It's like, it's some sort of connection there that I really want to know about my mother, and I want to know, how did you do it, and I ask her a lot of questions that my other siblings don't. I would say number two, it would definitely be Queen Afua.
Mm.
Queen Afua was a strong influence to me, even through before like her book and stuff. Like when I read the book, I was already into what I was into,
Mm.
but when I read that book, I was just like, wow, this is innovative. This is something that is new,
Yeah.
And I went through the whole rites of passage, and I really did the work, and it was a great book. So definitely Queen Afua. And the third person I would most definitely say, ooh, honestly, the third person I won't say because I hold that dear to my heart. But yeah, I won't say that. Just I'm gonna tell you off the camera.
Okay. Got you. So what about one other person? Maybe well, you already said Queen of Fool. Is there anyone in the I say the world, but maybe just like public figures or people we may know of outside of Queen of Fool? I mean, that could be enough though. We ain't gotta force it. So you want to just say those 2 for now?
Um, Honestly, I watch a lot of YouTube. I like a lot of women. I follow Ashley Dalton as well. I love what
Mm-hmm.
she is about. I don't agree with everything that I read. I don't agree with
Yeah.
everything that I go with, but I love seeing women in power, and I
Yep.
love seeing them be themselves and teach a message to people, you know. So,
Okay. Thank
mhm.
you. See, and really I like to ask that because frankly, we need to see the images ourselves, right?
Yes.
And so every time I have an episode or we just talk, and I love to hear who you're seeing or who you view as someone that is of inspiration, or that uplifts you in your daily
Mhm.
life, because even as a leader in your space or the space that you've created, it's always
Right.
nice to have some type of other inspiration, right? So I get that. Well, thank you for sharing. Queen of Fua, love her to death. Look, love her to life. You hear that? I need to change my
Mhm.
tone. I love
Change the
her
words.
to
Mhm.
life. Yes, I love her to life. And it's funny, my last guest, Chanel, she also brought up Queen Afua. And so we're now tapping into the divine feminine and sacred woman journey through these next conversations. So thank you for that. All right,
Mhm.
Nambi. And also let's talk a little bit about you. So let's give us your name, your location, and what you do.
Okay,
And
so
family life. If you have any hats that you wear, you can share that as well.
mhm. So my name is Nambi. I'm 26 years old, and I live in Tallahassee, Florida. I'm from Orlando, Florida, so I travel back and forth to the both.
Mhm.
Like I told you earlier, I'm in Tallahassee for school to be an OBGYN. And the thing about um I'm so sorry, I am so parched. I wish I brought some water. Um
Look, you can get you some water now. We can keep the conversation going, even if you is it nearby. You can stop and get it.
no, it's fine. It's in the kitchen. I'm in my
Okay.
office. But what was the other end of the question?
So we got your name, where you located, Tallahassee, Florida. What do you do? And then also what
Yeah.
hats you wear, because I like to talk about that on this platform too. If you
Mhm.
have any extra hats that you wear.
Mhm. So what it is that I do, I'm a business owner of Fraiche Teas. Fraiche Teas is my baby. That is my business that I grew from the ground up. And really, in my family life, I don't really. I would say I'm a sister. I'm an auntie. I'm not a mother yet. I don't want to be a mother yet. But yeah, I'm a sister. I'm an aunt. That's one of my two biggest jobs that I love being is a sister and an aunt, especially
Yeah.
because I have five sisters. I have no brothers.
Oh wow.
So I've been around women my entire life. So
Wow.
mhm.
That's nice. Yeah, me too. I have three sisters, but definitely I always joke and say I came from Barbie world where it was just girls, girls, girls. Like girls at home, girls in my life, like friend girls, girlfriends, like just
Mhm.
girls everywhere. Um and are you so I do like to get a little personal. I know you're obviously is it med, it would be med school, right? Do you call it med school?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure. You're in med school, so you might not have time for dating, but are you dating or do you have a significant other, like a partner?
Yes.
She was like,
Yes, I am dating. Yes.
okay, good. Okay, I love to hear that. Like I said, we this is a well-rounded conversation. Why? Because women, we wear a lot of hats, we make a
Yes.
lot of things happen,
Mhm.
and oftentimes we don't create space for ourselves to just have a conversation, right? And that's what we're doing here. But I
Mhm.
love to hear the different layers that you wear, and then especially you going being in med school, you're headed to a whole different world as far as like occupation.
Mhm.
So your significant other will have to be on that time, right? To be able to support you and encourage you along your journey because you're actually in a really unique spot. So
Yes.
that is so awesome, Nambi. Okay, so
Are
that
you
sounds good.
dating?
I'm sorry.
Are you dating?
Oh yeah. Anyway, listen, y'all. This is so like I said, this is organic now. We don't know each other like that. We finding out about each other on the line in front of y'all. So I'll do my stat. So my name is Giselle Clemson. Nambi. I am actually 36. Okay. And I live in Atlanta, Georgia. And I am married. I've been married for 5 years
Woo!
to the love of my life. Okay.
Mm.
I am a lover girl. Okay. So I'm one of the ones who actually believed in love this entire time. I never doubted it. I knew that my husband was gonna find me, but I did actually relocate. So I'm originally from North Alabama, from Huntsville. And so I grew up like a Southern belle, very Southern belle vibration. Okay. That's my whole rooting. But then when I moved to Atlanta to follow my dreams, I really just opened up a little bit about my own personal story. But I've always been a creator and I've always been a huge manifester. And so I met my husband here in Atlanta. He's from the Atlanta area, and we've been together for 5 years. But we actually met a long time ago on MySpace. You remember MySpace?
I do.
Yeah, girl. We met on MySpace like 10. Okay, anyway, it was like when I was 19, he was 21, and we met online. You know how you and I met online? And this is proof, y'all, that I am a digital girly. Okay, I am on this internet. Like the internet and me are cool. Besties. So he and I met on MySpace. Oh, like I was 19, he was 21. I was living in, my home state. He was here in Georgia. And we met on MySpace. We liked each other. We started dating. So we were like long distance boyfriend and girlfriend for a little while, like almost a year. But we fell in love through our conversation, And then we broke up. Obviously, time had passed on. But we didn't lose touch. We like knew, like that's him. But we just never like got back together. But then 10 years later, we got back together and we met on Tinder the second time. Yeah.
Wow.
Girl, we done met on Tinder, girl. And that was in 2017. So this was a time, again, I'm an early adopter, but this was a time where dating online wasn't as common. So I feel like it was taboo, and then it got common, and then it got weird. So I came in at the part when it was not common, like it was kind of taboo. But like I said, we met together, fell in love. 2017, we met again here in Atlanta. We've been together ever since. Got married in 2019, right before the pandemic. Been together ever since. But he is my twin flame, everything. And I love the work that you're doing, because I think some of the topics that you discuss really align with manifesting whatever you want into reality,
Right.
I believe I manifested my husband because I was following these divine principles, these feminine principles of kind of healing myself and positioning myself for what I wanted, became a magnet and attracted him into my life. So that's me. So nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I like that story.
Yes. And we have cats. We don't have any children. But we do plan to start a family one day. But right now we have 2 cats, okay, and they keep us busy. But so with that,
I have a cat, but my cat is an outside cat because I'm just I love them. I love cats, but I don't see the companionship that people talk about.
Okay.
I see it as like beneficial, but I know a lot of people really like cats for some type of spirituality, but I don't see it that way, and I don't feel that. So a lot of people are like, why is your cat outside? And I'm just like, he likes to be outside. So that is one of the hats that I would say I wear, but not
okay. So okay, I got you. He's kind of independent. Your cat.
Yeah, he loves being outside. If you keep him in too long, he's gonna meow at the door. So
oh wow, I love that. So you have a cat mom life. You say a little bit.
I won't say cat mom, but I have a pet. Yeah.
Okay. That's so funny, girl. Everybody's different. I definitely have a strong connection to my little cats. Okay, Sydney, he get too much clout on this show, but he is definitely a little. He's always at my feet. He's attached. We have a spiritual connection. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's so funny that you said it. He was like, I don't get it. It's different for everybody. I mean, honestly, your cat he might just be in his, like you said, do his own thing. It might not be a spiritual connection. So,
And he, he is very clingy. Like I'm the only person he likes and the only person he submits to. But when it comes to other people, he's kind of like, but I just, whatever.
okay. Yeah, he's like, okay. All right. Well, that's good to know. And so, yes, I am married and I've been married for 5 years. And I'm, like I said, on this show, we do talk about how to balance those different roles. And honestly, Nambi, you being in med school, that's a huge world of balance that you're in. Like you're
Mm-hmm.
balancing med school and also having a small bit or business. So I can only imagine the a bit of balance that you're playing every day. So Nambi, let me ask you this. Let's talk a little bit about divine feminine energy. Because I know you have a YouTube channel. I did check it out, and you talk about a lot of topics, some are a little risque, okay, but you get into the deets. And I would like to know, first of all, what does divine feminine energy even mean to you? And like, how does it influence your daily life?
Divine feminine energy to me it could be a complex thing, but to me, it's really just the essence of being. I
Mm.
feel like so many people try to find like a definition or she's supposed to act like this and she's supposed to dress like this, but I really think it's the essence of just being who
Mm.
you are, sitting what you're in, and stop trying to like do, but to just be.
Mm.
Um, and women have to learn how to master that, just being. Sometimes we do, like you said earlier, we do wear many hats, and we feel like we have to do. But to be is truly the feminine, like to be, just to sit and be who you are and be present. And I can go on for days, but I really think it's just to be in a
Mm.
shorter version.
Okay.
Hmm.
Now, in that being, do you find that women today know how to do that?
I feel like we are learning. We're going back to the source.
Mm-hmm.
After so many generations of our parents just do, our mothers and
Mm-hmm.
grandmothers just doing instead of just being, I feel like now us, like our generation, we're really starting to dive back into that. Like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
this way wasn't working. We're messed up.
Yep.
this
Yep.
this way isn't working, and now we're like getting new information. We're learning different things. We're reading different books, and now we're like, okay, I think we should go back to the source.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, I agree with you 100%, Nambi. I've seen it. So on this channel, we are literally, me and you. We're channeling the modern Renaissance woman, like this redefined womanhood.
mhm.
And I love how you brought up our grandmothers because our lineage is in our ancestry, right? It's
Yes.
already in us. And we saw some ladies would say that we saw our grandmothers, like my grandmother, she was definitely a Southern belle, kept wife, right? She did not, she worked, but it wasn't like how we working. Like she was just working to just do something.
Hmm.
And, my mother, on the other hand, she was more of a 90s woman, like kind of a girl about town, like like she giving the look. She still get the looks today, y'all. Y'all can see her on Facebook. She's probably posting a selfie.
Period.
Like she don't. What you mean? Did she doing that now? But like she loves to move around and like be on the go. And so then we saw that. We saw our grandmas, we saw our mothers. But then you have the millennials and Gen Z. We are looking around like, I don't know about that. I don't know if
Hmm.
that's what I want to do. Right. So, what do you think, Nambi, has changed? Let's talk about that. Like, of course, we saw mama, we saw grandma. Now we're coming into our own version of womanhood. What do you think we're trying to do differently, or what has changed?
So, just like you mentioned before, like the grandmother thing, my grandma was also a wife
Mm-hmm.
who was kept as well. She didn't have to work,
Mm-hmm.
but she worked as far as the house. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Like meals and taking care of the kids all by herself, because back then those men, they kind of didn't believe in doing the household things.
Mm-hmm.
So it was still kind of a form of doing, but in a different way.
Yep.
And then you have our parents who saw that, and they're the 90s mom, they saw that, and they're a lot more independent. That's where you
Yep.
started to see the single moms and and then us, I feel like we saw the single moms, and we
Yep.
saw and we're like, okay, no. No. And also with us, we're just getting so much information now. Like, we have the internet, we have different women telling their perspectives,
Yep.
and now we see the truth. Because when
Yep.
I was younger, I really wanted to be a mom. That was something that was a goal for me, to be a mother and a wife. And I I got older and I started seeing things for what they were, not just the fantasy in my head. And then you see all the testimonials of different women, and you're kind of like, oh, okay.
Mhm.
Maybe this is not what I dreamed it of in my head. So I
Yeah.
just think now we just have a lot more information to go by, and a lot more truth to go
True.
by. Mm-hmm.
That's true. You're right. It's a lot of lot of information out there.
Yeah.
So much information, and we now have the ability to use discernment, right? To decide what's good for you. May not be
Right.
good for the next person, but
Right. That's
finding
important.
your finding and writing your own story.
Yes.
And you said you have 5 sisters. So of your sisters, are y'all like around the same age? Are you, I know you said you're an aunt too. So is it like a nice demographic of like some are married, some are mothers, and you could kind of see from them as well? And which daughter are you? Are you like the oldest, the middle?
Hmm. So I'm the second born. So I have an older sister who is 28. She's the one with the kid.
Okay.
The one after me is 24 now. And then the one after her is 21, and then you have 18. None of us are mothers or wives. We've been, I've been proposed to, and my younger sister after me. But I feel that my mom was so honest with us that a lot of us didn't, we're just like, okay. Like, my younger two, they don't even want kids. And I
Mm.
always tell them, like, look, you can, everybody's experience will be different. You don't want to miss out on something, but I guess we saw our older sister and what she went through in motherhood, and
Mhm.
how much she's held back. And we're kind of just like, but I do want kids, just later, like 35 is good for me. But
Hello,
yeah.
on the record.
Since I'm a career woman, I know that I want to wait. I really want all my focus to be what I'm building.
Yeah.
So
I love that, Nambi. Oh my God. And what is your zodiac sign? Because now I'm being nosy. I'm a Leo. I'll share mine.
I am a Virgo.
Oh, Virgo. So you are September, August?
September.
So, okay. My husband's Virgo. Some of my best friends are Virgos. So me and
Wow.
Virgos go hand in hand. So
I do
there's
love
no,
Leos. I
you
love
see,
Leos.
it's a vibe. Honestly, it's because we're like the yin yang of each other.
Yes.
You know that. See, let me also reiterate, y'all, that this is an organic conversation, but I'm showing the power of authenticity. When you're being yourself, you'll actually start attracting through
People
magnetism
like you. Yep.
people like you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that is so cool. So, yeah, I love to hear that journey. So, you're the second to the oldest. So, not the eldest daughter, but do you carry some of the eldest daughter weight? Because I had a guest who is the eldest daughter, and she shared the truth behind being the eldest daughter, and like she carries a lot. Do you feel that as the second to the oldest, or does she kind of cover that energy?
Actually, I do, because, like I told you earlier, being a sister is one of my biggest jobs. Like,
Yeah.
anybody would tell you, I'm so obsessed with them, and I always want to teach them different things. And I just feel it's a weight. But now that they're grown and stuff, it's kind of like, and my older sister is, I won't say that, but there are some differences there in terms of how me and her deal with our sisters. So
Okay. Well, that's nice. So thank you for sharing, Nambi. Yep. It's always nice to hear like I said, perspectives. And I think it's very admirable that you have your own thoughts about how you want to live your life.
Absolutely.
Because, girl, when I tell you I was the same way, but I didn't even think twice. I didn't even think about anybody else's thoughts. I was not thinking about somebody else's thoughts. And
That's
I
how
feel
I
like,
am.
and if you're watching this episode, I want you to know that your voice is the most important voice in your life. Like, you could take advice, you could consider other people's perspective, but at the end of the day, it's your life, and you got to do what's best for you. And Nambi, I'm right there with you. I just turned 36 in August, but yeah, now I think I'm ready. I'm ready to be a mother now. But it took this long.
But that's a good age. That's a good
It
age.
is.
Even when I think about how much your mind develops as you, like, I can't wait to turn 30 because I
Yep.
know I will be smart as hell more than I am now.
Yep.
And it's just like the beauty of aging. I think a lot of people look down on that, or they're so afraid of it. But
Uh-huh.
oh my God, like when I look at 30-year-old women or women in their 40s, I'm like, I can't wait. Like, these women are so smart, they're sexy, they're savvy. Like,
Yes.
it's, yeah.
And you're right. And I think I know we get better with time because
Yes.
Nambi, I'm not gonna hold you. I was giving I don't know, I was just looking like a little girl for a long time, right? Until this year. I feel like I finally started. You know what happened? Let me be honest. This is what happened. Nambi, I decided to tap into my own divine feminine energy, more particularly my dark feminine energy.
Mm.
I started doing shadow work and light work, but more importantly, getting to know myself with no distractions.
Absolutely.
And do you know about that world of like dark feminine, or like that very deep dive into the feminine essence? Do you know anything about that? Could you share some information on that?
Absolutely. For me, it started so young, to the point, like before the YouTube gurus, before all of that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I've been, and that's what I think. I'm gonna touch on that later, but it started very young for me. Like, when I say young, I mean 9, 10, 11. I'm just looking up these things, and I'm searching these things about my body, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
looking at myself in the mirror, and I'm just like, what does it mean to be a woman? What does it mean to be me?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, I think it comes with age. Like I said, you get older, you get smarter, you learn more
Mm-hmm.
things about yourself. And at 26, I think about my 21-year-old self, and I'm like, what a dummy. Like, why do people think that they're so smart at 21? Like, I was
Yeah.
very mature too. I was extremely mature, and I still wasn't smart enough. So
Yeah.
it's just, with age, I learned about divine feminine, and I incorporate so many practices into my day to day. And
Could you
it
give
just,
us a few examples of that, like the day to day? Like, what does that look like to you? And like,
Mhm.
just making sure you're centered in your own energy, your own feminine essence. What does that look like to you or for
Mhm.
you?
So for me, it could be different. Like, through the days of the week, I go by what the day is ruled by. So if it's a Monday, it's a moon, and I know, I have a strict rule on Mondays. I don't do anything. On Mondays, I sit in the bed and I do nothing, because on Mondays you're more likely to be emotional. You're more likely to be sluggish. So I take that day and I make it like a weekend for me. You
Mm-hmm.
know. So the days of the week, every morning I normally start my day with a tea, just some herbs that I concocted together, something hot going down the body for the womb. It's just certain different things that I do. I could do womb meditations, affirmations. It's just a long range of my
Mm-hmm.
schedule that I will do every day. And I think simplicity is best. I
Mm-hmm.
know a lot of people, when we're scrolling and we see all these different ideas and we try to incorporate all of them at once, just do what fits you. That's simple, that works. It's all
Okay.
the same. Yeah.
You said it's all the same.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense. I've read about that, and it's so funny. I have not done the work on that, but I have read about how the days are ruled by what is it again?
Planets.
Planets, and it
And
also aligns. Does it also include the chakras?
yes.
Okay. See, so we'll say do your own research if that is something that you're interested in, because it sounds like, just eat more ways to incorporate that feminine healing and feminine energy. Now, Nambi, I did read from you where we talked a little bit about natural healing and holistic healing. So tell me a little bit about your take on holistic health and how you incorporate your business, your tea company, into that space of work.
Mm-hmm. So holistic health started for me probably back when I was 19. I had this knack for natural things, and I just started to research. And in my findings, like I did A through Z, I did the herbs like A through Z, and I looked through all of them because I was trying to start a skincare company. That's what Fraiche actually was going to be, a skincare company.
Mm.
But it's so funny how the stars align with things. But after researching the herbs, I saw like a list of these vaginal herbs, and I'm like, what if you put all this together and you just drink it? So that's what I did. I was still living at home, so I went in my mom's kitchen and I mixed it up together, and I tried it, and I was like, whoa, whoa. So after that, I let other women try it, and they had the same reaction. So that's how the herbal healing kind of got to Fraiche Teas now.
Mm-hmm.
You can see here the teas are there. Listen, I'm sold out, so it's like 5 left.
Wow.
But when it's incorporated into the business, I created so many different teas from just my herbal studying and me testing. And before I even create a tea, what I do is send it out to some of my customers that already have tried my teas. And I tell them, give me an honest review. If you don't like it, tell me you don't like it. If you like it, so the herbal healing I'm still learning. I always want to make sure that I'm a student.
Yeah.
Always. So.
And which tea is your favorite, and what does it do for those who don't know? Let's get into it, girl.
So my favorite tea would probably be the libido tea because it has cinnamon in it. Cinnamon heats up the body. And when your body is heated up. So the libido tea would probably be my favorite, just from the reaction that my body gets from it. But I know every woman is different. Mm-hmm. So, but I do the tea that gets sold the most is the kitty tea and the aroma tea. The aroma tea is the BV tea, like it helps combat BV. Mm-hmm. But the kitty tea, that is something that has gone beyond what I ever thought it would be.
Now tell me now, what does the kitty tea do? What the kitty tea do?
The kitty tea is for the vagina. It's a vaginal detox, a vaginal reproductive detox. And what it does so many different things. You can use it for menopause. You can use it for fertility, libido, moisture. It's like an all-in-one. And that tea is, it has sold so many teas, and I never thought that it would. Yeah.
What?
That's actually the one that I created at home. That was the first one.
See, you had it right. You got it right the first time. And it's so funny. Now that I'm hearing you talk, and I am a reader anyway. So yeah, hearing you're a Virgo, which is analytical. That's why you're doing analysis of every product, every type of anything that you're putting out. And then also having an appreciation for nature and the natural healing that is very Virgo. Y'all are ruled by the earth. It's literally the only sign that's a mother, right? That is the woman. It's the only sign in the zodiac that's an actual woman. Yes. And you're ruled by the sacral chakra, which is the belly button. Well, the belly, which is the womb. Yes. Well, it's not the womb, but it's the creative energy, right? So you your essence. And this is why I talk about this kind of stuff, because I feel like, I don't know when, but let's just say in the past 5 years, zodiacs and stars and planetary alignment has become very mainstream or popular. Yeah, it's really because the people are wanting to get more information about who we are and our nature. And I feel like everything's just going back to nature. So now we're in a natural cycle where we have people like me, a Leo. I got a podcast because I like the shining, right? I can shine my light. I can share my light with others. And, I just love how we're getting back to our natural selves. So we got the kitty tea, girls, the kitty tea. You need that. Wives, you need that. Okay, I gotta check out the site. I was already on there. Okay, so how did you start your business? So tell me about how you said you blew up on TikTok. What happened?
So, like I told you, I was in my mom's kitchen, did the concoction.
Mhm.
At first, I was gonna separate it from Fraiche. It wasn't gonna be the same thing. So I just
Mhm.
created an Instagram called the Kitty Tea, and it only had 300 followers on there. But I went on Facebook and kind of like, did some marketing, and a lot of people I knew and people on Facebook started buying it. And how I started is I didn't know how to ship products. So I just like drove to them in Orlando and dropped the tea off to them, and they would tell me different things. And so I just started, going further. I made a label. I did this, and it did really good on its own without TikTok. So when
Mm.
I started TikTok, that's when it was like, okay, I made one video. I think it did 6 million views in 2022, and after that video, it was a wrap. It was a wrap.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and after that video, I mean, it was one day that when that video launched, that entire week, I made like $30,000, and it just continued to go up, and it continued to go up, and it continued. So I was like, okay, so I brought my mother on as my operations, and it just grew from there. It's still growing. So.
What?
Mhm.
Congratulations. I know it's kind
Thank
of
you.
delayed, but that is amazing. I love to hear those kind of stories. So, also shout out to you for following your intuition. This was your nature. You see how you weren't doing anything outside of yourself. Like
Mhm.
you was in your being, and in your being, all this stuff came out, including a tea, virality on a new social platform. Because at the time, that was TikTok was still very new, right? And
Yeah.
you were able to go on there, introduce your product, and it went through the roof. That is so amazing.
And I'm so grateful for that, because you could have went on just a tad bit too late and missed that new app type of thing.
Yeah.
And when it's a new app, they want to push your video. But now TikTok has turned into, something they want you to pay for and pay for virality. So it's kind of hard to go viral so organically now. You literally have to go viral by either speaking about yourself or saying something or information but
Yeah.
you know, when
Okay.
did you
So
get on TikTok?
okay, so fun fact, I actually because I've been in social this whole time, and so I worked in social, like was on Facebook when Facebook first came out, right? Like I was a freshman in college, and I was like the first cohort of users for Facebook.
Wow.
Yes, girl, I'm feeling kind of anxious, but listen, I was there when it started, but I was in college, and my field of study, I was studying communications and digital, but digital wasn't really an industry back then. It was not
Hmm.
industry. Like when I was in college, we were learning about tweets. Like this is a tweet, this is a blog. And it's crazy that it wasn't that long ago, but because of technology, it feels like it was 100 years ago.
Because
But
it
nevertheless,
advances so fast.
it goes so quick. So I've been in social for this whole time in my career in media. I had a podcast in 2013, again, before it was called a podcast. But then I left. I left all of that because I was just too early. So I've always been
Hmm.
too early. Girl, I
Hmm.
was on TikTok in 2020. I started it in 2020. Then I heard about all the bad rumors, right? About the app. There was just some really bad PR coming out about the app. So I deleted the app, girl. I was there and I deleted the app. I ain't gonna be on here. They doing this, they doing that. Left the app. That app went through the roof. I was not on there. And I signed up again, I think in like it's 2024, maybe 2023.
Oh, wow.
Ain't that and now I'm on there trying to start over, really, truly. And I'm doing exactly what you said. I'm at the part where I'm having to pay to play, or you
Hmm.
gotta tell everybody your business or
Hmm.
whatever. And Yeah, I don't have many views on TikTok. I'm gonna be honest, y'all. My TikTok not popping, but it can be popping if this goes viral, and then y'all can go follow me. But no, my TikTok, I love my TikTok though. I'm learning. Since I was dating the app, but this year, I said the past 2 or 3 months, I've been more like intentional about building over there. I like to go live, and I'm just finding my way. But Nambi, I was late to the party.
But
Um,
it is a consistency game.
True.
So
That's true.
if you're consistent going live, there is bound to happen, and I think I have a problem with that too. It's like
Mhm.
everyday life gets in the way of my consistency. It's so hard to get on there every single day, but
Yeah.
you know
Yeah, and it is new, and then let my husband tell it. We all still early because TikTok, in my opinion, might have it might get to Facebook level later
mm.
on down the road. Yeah, and so that's a lot of growth that could come up. But girl, yeah, I'm late. I'm late. So, but okay, so you went viral on TikTok, and is that how you started your tea business? It kind of picked up from there. You just been going ever since.
Yeah, it was this business, like it was Fraiche Teas. So, but I did ended up switching the name to Kitty Craze, which I
Mhm.
regret now. But I ended up switching the name, and then I ended up switching it back to Fraiche Teas. But let me just
Okay.
say this: one day we should go live on your TikTok, my page and your
Yes.
page, and we, discuss this same thing.
We
You
can
know,
do that.
yeah,
Matter of fact, we will. We will do that.
we
Whenever
will.
are y'all doing? What is it? Exam time? Like final exams?
Yeah, it
College?
is. I just took one before I hopped on here. I have two
Ah,
more this week, and then I'll be, yeah.
okay. Well, after you finish with your studies, we could do that, girl. Because I know you
Okay.
got to focus. That is so cool. Okay. So thank you for that. Thank you for the tea, literally and physically. So where can we shop your teas? I'm gonna make sure I link you in the description. But where can we shop the teas like right now?
It is fraicheteas.com, FRAICHE teas, TEAS.com.
Okay.
And you'll be able to shop there. I'm actually doing a Cyber Monday sale all week. So you guys
Yay.
can go in there and get it for 30% off.
Yay, that is so awesome. Thank you, Nambi. And speaking of teas, I want to talk a little bit about I saw something that you were discussing how stress is causing autoimmune disorders in Black women. And I've been seeing a lot of dissertation and research about that particular topic.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the women, and these are more so like healthcare leaders, kind of like what you're becoming. They're saying,
Because
Black women, sit down, like sit down, let it go, release. Stress is causing autoimmune disorders in Black women. And then we're talking about the girl boss era because Nambi, I did come from the girl boss era. I sure did.
so did I.
Okay, girl. So, what are your thoughts on that, and what can we do as a collective to change that up? Because we need the girls healthy and thriving.
We
Okay,
do. We do.
30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. I've seen women who are well into their 70s, like Queen Afua, thriving in their health. So, talk to me about that topic. Stress is causing autoimmune disorders in women, and what can we do to get out of that?
So, honestly, like you said earlier, it's passed down through generations, right? So we have our grandmothers, our mothers, even if you had slaves as ancestors, because some of y'all didn't.
Yeah.
If you did, you still feel that pain if it was not handled. So that anxiety you feel every day to move so fast, that's the same as your slave grandma having to move so fast because she's so scared she's going to get hit. It is
Mm,
the same thing that you're feeling. So when you handle it, because I've seen it in my mother, my grandma, even me, sometimes I've had anxiety and I'm like, where the hell did this come from? And I'll ask my mom and she's like, yeah, when I was pregnant, I had a lot of anxiety. But how we heal that now, I think we just have to take a different approach than our lineage. You have to change the lineage. And
mhm.
I don't think people understand how important DNA actually is. You are the same people that you were born from. It's the same thing. If you and a lot of us don't have that discussion with our parents. We don't even know what they went through. We don't know, you know. So I think start asking more questions. Mom, how was your pregnancy with me? What were you like? What did you eat? How was your mood swings? Like, you know. But how we're going to heal that now is basically just, like I said earlier, changing your lineage. Start eating different things. If y'all eating the same thing, guess what? Y'all going to have the same diseases.
True.
Y'all going to have, it's nothing's going to change until you change it.
You're right. And Nambi, I just want to say thank you again for sharing your voice with us, because this is actually an episode about women's health. And we have Nambi Nine, who is currently in med school. She literally means what she's saying. Like, this is not for clout. This is not for social media. Like, this girl is in med school right now. You're looking at a future OBGYN. These are the women that are coming into the industry to change our lives one womb at a time. Okay. So thank you, Nambi, because this is a very important matter. And I don't know why. Oh, I know why. Because I've been doing the work. I'm so tapped into the passion that I have for this topic. So
Me
this
too.
topic of health and women's health. And it's so funny, Nambi, when I was in my 20s, I used to be, I'm going to share, I teach Zumba. So I was a Zumba instructor. I always kept my shape, right? I kept my shape. Very passionate about women. And, you know, I saw all my sisters, not my own blood sisters, but just women in general, how we were living. I'm like, we got to work out. We got to do it. We gotta. But you know what happened? I'm going to be honest.
What happened, girl?
For me, after I got married, I feel like when I got married, okay, the first year it was great, 2019. But then when 2020 happened, the whole world got, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I don't know where I was putting that fear, because I was like, the world, in my opinion, the world ended. The old world ended and a new world started to emerge.
It did.
Right? It did. And so I feel like I just I ain't gonna lie, I let my health be to the back seat. Mm-hmm. Because I was just happy to be alive and thriving and happy. And I had just, you know, got married. So I was in a different headspace, because I spent all my 20s and whatever trying to dodge everything you just talked about, right? Yeah. The ancestral diseases and obesity and all the things that I see in my bloodline. I dedicated my life to not trying to be that, right? But then when the pandemic happened, I just got a little less vain and I got more humble and like grateful for life, you know, because people was dropping like flies. So it just wasn't the time to be like, I'm trying to get a 6-pack. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It just wasn't the time for that, y'all. It was just a lot going on the planet. And I think the planet herself is still healing from all of what took place. So then 2020 happened. Fast forward to, let's just say, this year, 2024. So that's 4 years. And I just had to take my health back because I kind of let it go. I'm going to be honest. I had got bigger than I had ever been in my whole life. But so I didn't.
I'm sorry, but in terms of letting it go, how far did you go? Like, did you just eat snacks or sugars all the time? Like, how far?
Sugar. That's what it was. Sugar. I didn't know, but I found out. And I don't have any underlying diseases. But in my family, there are plenty of underlying diseases. And so what happened, I think the older I got, like when I started getting in my 30s, I realized that I was becoming a version of me that I had been trying to get away from that whole time. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so like you said, the bloodline, it is real, y'all. You will start becoming your ancestors, and until or unless you change something about your life. And this is something, Nambi, so my point was that I'm getting back to myself now. Like this year, I'm back this year. Like you meet me being back to myself, but I did go through a phase, and I actually was proud of myself for doing that, being vulnerable and just releasing. Because again, even to be healthy and like be, let's say, model behavior of health and thin and all this other stuff, that could become very masculine. Yes. And cause you to be doing stuff that's taken away from your body at the same time. Even though even if you're skinny or not gaining weight, you could still be sick because you're not taking care of your body, because you're being so masculine, trying not to be feminine. It's a plot twist, ain't it? It's a plot twist.
You better preach.
Because let me tell you something, women, we love to eat. That is our nature. You're birthing children. You like to eat. We like to cook. We like food. That's a feminine aspect of womanhood. But in America, in the Western world, they preach different body types, of course. So then you kind of got to get a little masculine. You got to go to the gym. You got to count your calories. You got to use the analytical side of your brain so that you are balanced. Yes. Because I think the reason I read once, they said if there was a world with no men, what would it be like? They said a whole bunch of women would be fat, eating cake all day.
We want to hear.
Listen, it wouldn't even matter, but that's not the world we live in. So yes, we have to keep it tight and do what we can to make sure that we don't fall into that. But Nambi, I was saying to me, and this year I found it's a 3-body problem, and Queen Afua talks about this: the mind, body, and spirit.
Yeah,
keeping that in alignment. So, what are your thoughts on that balance and like the mind, body, spirit kind of equation?
Mm-hmm. Like I said earlier, I'm all about simplicity. Mind, meaning just practice mind health, whether that's meditation for you, whether that's just putting affirmation, whatever works for you. Mm-hmm. Then you got the body, okay? Taking care of your body, making sure what you put in, you want to come out. Okay. Because I've lived different lives. I grew up on the whole soul food and the heavy foods and the salts, and I know the difference that your body feels, and especially your vagina feels when you eat healthy versus when you're just eating a bunch of BS. And your soul, what that soul connection is, whatever that is to you, but just feeding it daily, being consistent. I think a lot of times us as women, some of us, we get so bored at the same routine, and just make it yours. Once you get bored, you're not going to do it again. It's a consistency thing. So just keeping everything pretty balanced, yeah.
I agree. So ladies and fellas, balance, mind, body, soul. You need all 3 in alignment at all times. And if something is out of alignment, just get it back in alignment. So I'm reading it's an article. It says a recent study led by Stanford Medicine scientists reveal how women of color are more prone to developing autoimmune disorders from internalizing their feelings and emotions.
And the crazy part is, where do people think this is from? This is not out of thin air. This is our DNA, our lineage. This is us going to work, and we feel like we can't speak up because we don't want to be the angry Black woman.
Yep.
It's so many different things that are targeted towards Black women that, and I'm a person that doesn't like to be the victim. I don't even claim to be a victim. I don't claim the same things that other people claim, but I know what is true.
Yep.
Whether you're this or that, every Black woman has gone through something like this. So I know exactly what they're talking about. And I understand why it's us. It's not because, let me tell you something. We have some of the best DNA there is.
True. But the best
DNA that there is. But the problem is we haven't got to the point where what can I say? Where we reached that highest level. I do think it's coming. Like I told you earlier, I think it's coming. We are coming to a time where we're just like, what have we been? So why are we like this? We're questioning everything. So I think it's coming.
Girl, I know it's coming. It came to me recently, girl, the past literally 2 weeks.
What happened?
Long story short, I found myself kind of in a position where, like you said earlier, I was suppressing, we'll talk about career. So in the professional world, I've never really been in the space of corporate, right? I've always been an entrepreneur, but I was accepting different contracts where I'm in a corporate setting as the entrepreneur, as a consultant, but I'm in their setting, I'm in their space. So good luck trying to be yourself in a space that's pretty much an institution, right? And so I found myself really just being overlooked, underappreciated, undervalued, like every Black woman's story who tries to work a regular job. And I had a conversation with my previous organization, and there were some changes taking place, but they were not being direct. There was no conversation directly towards me. And so had a conversation, and it was just like, what's going on, da, 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 talking to me. And it made me question, like you said, I was questioning my reality, because I realized, because I'm not a victim, I realized that I was not living in my authenticity. And since I was not living in my authenticity, I had to decide what I was going to do about it. Am I going to be true and be myself, choose me, or am I going to choose them? We were at a crossroads. I found myself in a crossroads, Nambi, and I said, what am I going to do? Am I going to be my true, authentic, 100% authenticity? Or am I going to still continue to try to exist in these constructs that were never designed for me to be successful and prosperous? Never. You heard what you just said. You said you made 30K from TikTok from a tea that you created in your room, in your mama's kitchen. Pure organic goddess. That is called goddess energy, right? But then I find myself trying to go inside of an institution that is built on white supremacy, patriarchy, and sexism. Thinking that I'm going to make an impact in any kind of way outside of getting money. The answer is no, you will not. And I hate to be so candid about it, but I've been in this space, like I said, over 10 years, and it's not been anything but what I just said. Like, you either gonna make your own way, or they're gonna make it for you, and it's gonna lead you to a place you don't want to be at. And so found myself, Nambi, I had to make a decision. And okay, girl, let me break it down. So had that conversation. The next day, I sat with the information, because it was basically like, I don't know you could sit here if you want to, but we need to probably get somebody else to do it. And I ain't gonna lie, me and my husband went to the park, because we're very nature. I told you you're Virgo. So we went to the park. And Nambi, I did a ritual on myself. I wrote down everything about my lower self, the version of me that was working that job, the version of me that was holding her feelings in to just exist, right? The version of me who was surviving, the survival version of me. I wrote down on a piece of paper everything about her traumas, her insecurities, everything that she's don't want to heal from. She's accepting jobs that are not in her alignment with her divinity. I wrote it on a piece of paper and I burned it. I lit it up and it burned to ashes. And I said, from this moment forward, the phoenix is now rising from the ashes. And I will no longer show that version of myself. And it was very serious. I literally had like a memorial service for that version of me. And you know what else happened? I went into my womb. Nambi, I ain't ever been to my womb like that. I told you I don't have no key. But spirit gave me the energy I needed to dig into myself. It was like a womb portal manifestation. And when I came out, Nambi, I was ascended into my higher self. And she became the leader of the conversations. I am only showing up as my higher self. Her name is actually Goddess Giselle, right? Hello. She is the creator of this platform. She's the person who's been helping me all this time. But I literally became this version of me. Like I said, when I was let's just say I gained some weight, and I ain't never had no weight on me like that. So when I gained weight, I started looking different in the face. I was like, oh, where did I go? And this is so raw. I was like, where did I go? It's because I was not being authentic. But that happened literally over the past week. And I went to see my OBGYN. And this is getting real personal, but I'm talking to a future OBGYN. So
Yeah, bring
Here
it
we
on.
are.
Bring it on.
Girl, you opening me up now. This is good for me. Oh my God. And I had anyway, I have a new doctor. She's awesome. And I had an ultrasound because she just wants to look and see how everything's going. Do you know I've never had one of those?
An ultrasound?
Yeah.
Oh, why not?
Well, in the time space reality that I live in, the only people have ultrasounds is folks who are pregnant.
And they tell you that. Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And all this time, I ain't ever seen inside of my womb just because I ain't got no baby. Don't you think it's customary for me to be able to see it? And it's funny, Nambi, my new doctor is a younger doctor. She's younger, and I like that because that means she's hungry. She's going to do her work. She's like excited to be in the field.
Yeah.
She's like a really sincere. She gave a damn about my vagina. I have never had that type of service, Nambi. That happened on that Tuesday. I literally feel like I opened up my portal to myself that I had never even opened before. And by that Friday, I had that life-changing conversation. That Saturday, I did the ritual to kill off the version of me who was abusing her womb, right? Doing things that don't align with me. And then fast forward, it's been 3 weeks. So that happened 1 week. The next week, I had the doctor's visit. On Monday, I resigned from that contract.
Oh, wow.
Released it. Release the job, release the stress, release the love, forget the rest. Listen, you won't break my soul.
Okay.
Ain't nobody in the world worth my body.
It's not.
Girl. So that's what I experienced. And it was life-changing because I did not know I was so detached from my inner self.
Yes. So when you went, did they tell you any bad news? I mean,
no bad news, but it was still the first time I had ever been inside and seen a picture even of like, an ultrasound and like seeing, oh, this is what it looks like. I had never done that before. And it was just like a women's exam. So it wasn't my pap. It wasn't time for my pap, but yeah, I had never had such a involved experience, and it was all about my vajayjay. And I was like, why haven't I had this done before? And I'm literally 36.
And it makes me so angry that the female body is kind of put on the back burner or is seen as some type of like, ew, or because it's such a powerful, even when you said that you saw your womb for the first time or you opened a portal, I've done that so many times. And I wish that so many people can learn to do that. But I know there's some people that's like Christians or they feel like this is some type of witchcraft. It's not. It's literally what you were brought here to do. But I just feel that we don't know so much about our bodies. And then you get to like 40 years old, 30. Like I've had friends who've had kids and they did not even know what ovulation was. This is a crazy thing because it's like, honestly, I'm speaking from my experience. If I had known what I've known now as a younger woman, I wouldn't have lost my virginity. I wouldn't have let no one touch me. It's so many different things that I wish I knew. And it's like, now going into the next generation, I'm going to teach this. This is what I want my kids to know.
I agree. I wouldn't have either. I wish somebody would have told me. I did not know. That's why I said the version of me that I released back to the universe, she did not know her womb. She did not know herself. Yeah. And I would have did the same thing, girl. I would have been a virgin until I got married, period.
Yes.
Like it's a no-brainer. I wouldn't let nobody near me if I knew. And I actually saw a girl today who said that she was a virgin until marriage. And so because her mother had that conversation with her. And so she didn't let nobody touch her. She said her mama told her, and then I'm word to the wise, her mom told her that every time you sleep with somebody that you're giving a piece of them to you. I mean, you're giving away a piece of you to that person. Yes. And you're tied forever. And then when you get married, you won't have enough energy basically to give to your husband because you done gave yourself to all these others who were not your husband. So that's the chastity piece. That's why they encourage us not to have sex before marriage, because of it's spiritual. It's all alchemical, spiritual energy exchanges.
It is
And
very, very spiritual. And
yes,
anytime a woman has sex with a man, you are taking a piece of him. You're taking his energy. It doesn't matter if you're 16 and you don't really know um, what's going on. You're still
mm-hmm.
going to get that little piece of him. And now, don't get me wrong. I do think you can cut the tie, and I do think you can get rid of the energy. But
Yeah.
I still feel that, had I known these things, I wouldn't have done anything.
Yep.
And I know now, when I ask my mom these questions, and she's like, well, nobody taught me. My mom didn't teach me, so how did I can't teach
Mm-hmm.
you. And
Yeah.
I totally get it. My mom was a very now I know a lot of people say this, but my mom was like top tier mother, and she still couldn't teach me that, because she did not. That's what I mean with the lineage.
Yes.
She did not know. But
Yep.
my mom was teaching me about credit scores, and she was teaching me about business. And by the time I was 9 years old, but she still didn't know these things,
True.
So,
Because it wasn't a space for it. It wasn't a space for it. And that's why I love me some Gen Z, y'all. I love y'all's generation, because I feel like I'm a millennial, but I definitely am more. Okay, so yeah, so we're in the same space, but like I have a youthful spirit, and that's why I'm just my way. That's why I resigned from the role. Like I have a very youthful spirit, because when you're creative, everything's always new. You know what I'm saying? And so I love how you're sharing like this even us sharing this space. We gotta have to touch her. Like my mom, she used to call us peaches when we were growing up. She would say, "Don't let nobody ever touch your peaches. Don't let nobody nowhere near you." So it was like wisdom. I call it like Native American wisdom, Native American Black woman wisdom. Like there's certain things in the Black women in America community that's just we know. Like you got to teach it, share it through conversation. And I've heard about the Geritol, like drinking Geritol, and it's like an iron supplement, but it could help you with infertility or make you more fertile. So these are different things, and this is not medical advice. I am not a doctor. Disclaimer, but these are different things that I've heard and I, follow, because like I said, a lot of this stuff is native. This is remind you, a lot of the healthcare system doesn't like to see us healthy and happy and thriving. And so we have to create these small pockets of information so we can share them with each other, each one teach one.
Yes, we do. We do in our community. We do have like a lot of old wives' tales and things that we share. But in terms of like like how you said, my mom, she was like that too. Like anytime she wouldn't let us around people, we couldn't go spend a night at a lot of places because she was so afraid of people touching us. She had 5 daughters. So she was very serious about that, and I'm thankful because that probably was why I wasn't touched. She just was so serious. But in terms of us having knowledge about certain parts of our bodies, like I didn't know there were so many holes in a vagina until I turned a certain age, like 20. So I'm just like, if had I known these magical things about what I have and these magical places in my body, don't get me wrong, I never been the type to sleep around. But even if you were, there's no judgment because a lot of us did not know.
Yeah, we just didn't know. And that's why I agree with you, Nambi. It's not knowing is how they get you. That's why now, okay, we were in the age of Pisces, which is the dark ages, but now 2020 and on, we're entering the age of Aquarius. And that's all about information. So really, we're just in with the times. Like it's a timeline. It wasn't time for us to know all that before, but now we're becoming more aware. And I actually was on my blog, and on my blog, I talked about on my wellness column, I talked about fibroids and feminine energy. So I've been hearing a lot about fibroids and cysts and different things that can get in the ovaries or on the women's reproductive system. And I did some research and learned that fibroids could be a sign of emotional blockages in the feminine. Could you talk to us a little bit about that?
So fibroids, like you said, it is a blockage. And sometimes it's even a blockage of molestation, rape. And I think, let me go off track for a little bit. I feel like if people merge science and spiritual, they could really come up with some great things, and they can really learn about their bodies. Not everything is spiritual, no, but not everything is science, but it is all together. It really is all together. But when it comes to fibroids, yes, it can be emotional blockages, molestation, rape, certain men that you were sleeping with that weren't supposed to be there. Just, and like we said earlier, when you sleep with someone, they give you a piece of them. So that could be from 2 guys ago and just still hanging on because you still got some blockages there from him, And I've heard a lot of stories of women like changing their diets and fasting, and the fibroids kind of come out.
Yeah.
But like they are, you can heal a fibroid on your own. You absolutely can. But if it turns cancerous, go do what you have to do. Go to see a doctor. But prevention is better than cure, for sure.
Okay. Thank you for that. And yeah, I've seen it. Like I said, I'll see just all kind of discourse. I did some research. I saw that it was an emotional blockage of creativity. I was like, what? It can show up in your body. The body keeps score of those things. So even if you think, because like I'll speak for myself, like I thought I was pretty creative. Like I'm creative by nature. And I thought I was doing an okay job at expressing myself. But when I found myself in a patriarchal, systemically racist institution, all of them are like that, in my opinion. And then even with Black women, the higher you get, the harder it gets. Like I'm talking about board certified, decorated OBGYN, been a doctor for 20 years, still dealing with racism, sexism, and being treated unfairly. So that's why women like you are coming up to just, we're going to change everything. Okay. You can do it your way. Your customers are all, your future patients are already your customers. Like they buying your teas, building that trust at 26. I'm like, I knew her when she was in med school. Now she done helped me deliver 2 of my babies, like I'm saying, we're speaking that into existence. Okay. Like those are the type of, that's the new world. It's ruled by this feminine essence. And we just have to really release all blockages. Okay. Girl, we just talking. Do you have any? Go ahead. I was going to ask you. You go first.
I do want to say some things because I know we've been on here for a while.
I know, right?
We love talking,
right?
But I do want to say this to women: be yourself. Like truly, there's a lot of gurus. There's a lot of people with information, such as myself. But have discernment, like we mentioned earlier. Have discernment about what you listen to and the people that you follow and their advice. Still learn to be authentic to you. And because a lot of us have something to offer. We all don't have to conform to this one type of woman. All of us can, everybody has it. And I see that a lot now. Like a lot of people try to conform into something else or someone else, or try to be like this and try to be like that. But authenticity is really the key as a woman, because it's the key.
Okay. You said it. Say it again. Authenticity is the key. And Nambi, I do see a lot of that online, especially like on TikTok. Like, it's like a lot of group think, and I observe, but that's why we're here on platforms like this to just raise awareness of what we do know. And I know we talked about a lot. I want to make sure I hit everything. So we talked about the tea. Womanhood University. What is that, and how can people be a part of it?
The Womanhood University is my YouTube channel. Okay. The Womanhood University started because I kind of, just like I was speaking about, I was like, I kind of want to be a big sister, someone that I didn't have, like to teach younger girls and even older women some stuff that they don't know, and just have certain conversations as women to help us better each other. And like I said, I'm always a student. So even if I make a video about something, I'm still learning. I'm still researching. I still want to know things. They kind of give me feedback that I can feedback off of. And the Womanhood University is just a community. It's a community of women. It's my YouTube channel. You can find it on here. Hopefully, I could probably link it in the comments or whatever.
Yep.
But Yeah, the Womanhood University is just a byproduct of Fraiche Teas, kind of just like
Nice.
a community. And I got that idea while I was fasting. I did a water fast for 3 days, and on that second day, that idea, I mean, it came like
Immediately.
instantly. Yeah. And also, ladies, incorporate fasting. If you ever want to get an idea, or if you ever want to kind of life hack, fast. The idea will come to you, and it will be like an open book. And that idea of YouTube came to me years ago, but I just never. But now that I'm being more consistent, I shot up like 1,000 subscribers in 2 weeks, I think.
Wow.
So I think when you listen to your mind and you listen to the higher power, whatever you believe in, you get in the cheat code. You just have to follow it. You have to listen
Yes.
to it.
Okay. Thank you. And yep, that's game, because the spirit, I would say, Nambi, of the mind, body, soul. My strength is spirit. Okay.
Yes.
I am very spiritually attuned. I'm a seer. I'm very spiritually led. Like spirit and me like this.
Mm-hmm.
Mine, I need to turn it off a little bit. I'm gonna be honest. I'm from the school where I thought I've been thinking too much. Like I'm
Mm-hmm.
too smart.
Mm-hmm.
The thing, y'all don't. My grandma, because okay, we're talking about the women. My grandma used to joke. She'd be like, "Girl, how long you gonna be in college? Like how long? Get your degree, but don't
Mm.
go back and get another degree. If you
Mm-hmm.
don't go back to law school because you're bored, don't
Mm-hmm.
do that. That's not good for us as women, because it's just gonna lead to this institutionalized mind,
Yes.
and you forget how to think for yourself because you've been in school for so long.
Yes.
And so the body is what we're talking about today. That's what this whole show has been about. So vaginal health, wellness, all of that good stuff. And last but not least, Nambi, before we wrap, because girl, like I said, I feel like I could go another hour. I got so many questions. But we'll have you come back, okay?
We'll
And
come back.
I've had a guest. She talks very openly about, like, she had a not a miscarriage, but she had an issue with childbirth, basically, and had to terminate the pregnancy. And so
Yes.
I love this open dialogue. It feels like my cha-cha is open. I'm opening up my
Mm-hmm.
cha-cha, and I can just talk from my cha-cha, and
As you
not from,
should.
yeah, and not from my mind. Because what is this? The mind is a terrible thing to waste, but it's a terrible thing to overload too.
Yes.
Don't
Yes.
overload the mind with all this stuff that ain't got nothing to do with you and your cha-cha and your essence. So,
Exactly.
Nabi, talk to me about self-love. We know it's important. We know it's like everything. But what do you do for yourself, Nambi? I see you're in med school, you're dating, you're a sister, a mother. Oh, not mother, sorry. You're a sister and an aunt. You're like, yeah, where? What you mean? So, sister and aunt, how do you practice self-love and like show yourself more love daily?
Mm-hmm. Self love is probably the biggest thing for me. Like, I think that's why I've become what I've become, because
Mhm.
I love myself more than I love anybody.
Yeah.
And I truly believe women should be like that. If
Yep.
you cannot give from an empty cup. If you're constantly giving from an empty cup, guess who's going to be drained and looking ugly and looking old? It's going to be you.
Yep.
So, and I mean, I know a lot of people would say that's selfish, or some people would, but I don't care. Even in my room, I have a big portrait that was painted of me above like my nightstand, and I just look
Mhm.
at it as if it's some type of god or something. I feel like women should be so obsessed with themselves, because everybody around you is going to become obsessed with you.
Yeah.
Everybody around you is going to treat you exactly how you treat yourself. And I think it can get dangerous, because it has gotten dangerous for me. But I don't think it's no such thing as bad. Like, I
Mhm.
don't. You should praise yourself. You should literally be in love with yourself,
Yes.
enamored.
I love that. Love yourself. I love myself. I'm in the mirror. I'm getting to know all about my gifts and my essence and everything else.
Yes.
And so I just call on women, if you're watching this episode, Nambi Nine has shed so much light on the importance of being you. Just be. Sit
Yes.
down somewhere, girl.
Mm-hmm.
Let somebody else do it. I remember they used to have this funny joke. I think it was, I don't know when, but they'll be like, black women always be like, get somebody else to do it. I'm in that season. Get somebody else to do it. It ain't gonna be me. And what listen, and how much power and change can happen if we all decided to just love ourselves. Like,
And you know what? When it comes to self love as well, I think a lot of women like, you know, what goes hand in hand with that is jealousy. When you are that emotion, it's something inside of you that you're lacking, that you can't be happy for someone else. You can't. But when you love yourself to the point of obsession, you're literally. When I say I don't get jealous, people are literally like, I don't believe that. No, seriously, I don't. Because when you love yourself so much, you can't look at somebody else and be like, I want that, or ladies on the, whoever's watching, whoever's listening, if you don't take nothing else from this podcast, take away self-love. Become enamored with yourself and your journey, because when you see somebody else's journey, you can be happy for them because you know that's not even your journey. There's no reason for you to be jealous. I'll get to mine.
That's true.
Self-love.
Self-love, y'all. Love yourselves. And Nambi, I've dealt with so much jealousy in my life. And it's so funny. I don't even know you. Well, I know you now, but I don't know you from like back then. And it's just so nice and refreshing to talk to you because I feel like we're like right here. I've dealt with a lot of jealousy. And that's because I've always been the way I am now. Like, I've never felt doubt. I never felt the doubt like most women have, or let's just say some women. I don't have that energy about me, but I will say that, and it was sad. It made me sad that everyone was so jealous or envious, or just when you love yourself, you have a high vibration. It naturally attracts low vibrational people. Because they want what you have, or they see you and they want that, and so they'll be your friend just to get what you have.
Yeah,
whatever that is. If it's and it's definitely esoteric. It's not like a car. We're talking like your confidence, your looks, your personality.
yeah.
You ain't even got to have no money. They could have all the money and labels and designers, but they still treat you a type of way because you just got that. You know what I'm saying? That if that ain't right. And it does sometimes it attracts a lot of jealousy and envy from other women.
Yeah.
Do you have a remedy on that? Like I'm learning, but do you have advice or thoughts on that?
Honestly, I've dealt with that my whole life too. Just women, I think women are just catty in general, but I think it's because of the way that society has brought up women. It's always some type of competition because you want to be seen, or you want to be the one that gets a man first, and you want. They've always just pinned us against each other. But like, I think if women go back to that thing of like a village of like women together, decentering the men, but us coming together as a community, like, oh, she does the kids' hair. This woman over here, she cooks for the community. She like, I so wish we can get back to that, because women are so much stronger together than we are fighting. And
we are.
Oh, girl, I can go on and on.
Yeah, we are, and I agree with you. And it is. It's about men. And I didn't know. I did not know. I have never been boy crazy. I've always been pretty focused and in my own business, right? Even at your age, I was doing what you're doing. I was in school. I was doing something productive with my time. I wasn't thinking about these dudes. But when I got a man, the first, mind you, my husband was my only real boyfriend. Like my serious relationship ended up being my husband. When he came in the picture, all the vibrations start changing up a little bit. I was like, what is this? Why y'all acting like that? It's me. But the vibe switched because I was single all that time. 26, I was single. I met my husband, I was 27. I got into a relationship literally at 27, and we've been together ever since. But at your age, I was single. I was just like, fun. Girl, I fell in love. Everybody energy just switched.
Yeah.
And I was like, y'all really love these men. Like, men be having the girls like, I don't know. It was just weird. So you know what I'm talking about.
I do. Very jealous, very catty. Oh, how she got a man. It's just, It's the
It's a lot.
stupidest thing ever because men are probably the easiest thing to get. So I don't understand why. I don't understand, girl.
Listen, I promise I thought the same thing. We come from the same school of thought. Let's put it like that. That's why we talking. Yes. Well, I'm glad that we can relate to that because it's just so many other things that we can do with our time than to be talking about like a man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, girl. And honestly, I kind of did grow up boy crazy, but only like in, I believe, middle school, high school. But it wasn't a boy crazy like I was after them, but I always got attention. So I always just felt like, oh, that's my crush now. Oh, my crush. You know, me and my sister, we talk about our crushes for the week and blah, blah, blah. But when I got older, I kind of was like, okay, you know,
yeah.
And I always kind of had a thing of like, well, when I got older, it was kind of like, well, they'll always be there. You can always get a man. I don't understand the making it your whole life journey to be someone's wife because it's like you can do it. It's not impossible.
You're right. And I see the girls now because when I got married, it just happened. I'm talking about I was just doing me. And I did say I was gonna be a wife. I knew that. You know what I'm saying? Like, duh. But I wasn't like, okay, is this gonna be my husband? Okay, I need to date him. Like it just happened very organically. And then when we got together, I didn't have no questions for nobody. I didn't ask not one person. So what do you think of him? Because I already knew. You see what I'm saying? My mama coached me and gave me that, wisdom, make sure I was doing right. But because I was just scared, honestly. It was just a lot. It was a lot because I had really met him and I was just like, oh my God, I love him. He's so fine. We are so good together. Is this about to happen? Am I finna be a wife? What do I need to do first? This is kind of crazy. Like, so it kind of hit me real quickly. And I feel like I didn't have no time to get prepared, but I honestly was preparing this whole time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and when it was like a week after we got together, we was dating. And the first thing he said, he was like, oh, you a wife. And I was just like, what do you mean? Like,
he meant business, honey. He meant business.
So that's how that worked. But a lot of time it's going to happen supernaturally. And it won't even require what you think of him. Girl, if you got to ask somebody, he might not be the one for you.
When you know.
That part.
So, yeah, you probably just knew off the bat. Is that something you felt like, I know this is my husband?
Oh, yeah, I knew. The minute we, so back when we dated was when we were teenagers, we had a very strong connection. And I had never felt that way about anybody else ever since I had met him. And so I had moved to Atlanta thinking I was trying to find me and be in the city, but I was really there for him. And my spirit told me to move to Atlanta. My spirit said, move to Atlanta. I was going to move to New York, DC. Spirit was like, go to Atlanta. Get to Atlanta. And I was looking for this certain vibe, like this art scene. It's like culture, the fashion. Like it was just all these different things I was looking for. But turns out it was him.
It was him, yeah.
It was him. And when we linked back up, it was actually my birthday. And we went out. And after I saw him, I didn't know immediately, but I knew that it was something serious.
It was something, yeah.
And I can tell you this because you're the womb girly. What happened? Let me tell y'all, Nambi, let me tell you how I knew he was the one. Girl, I wanted to have his baby.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I have never been that type of girl. I ain't ever wanted to be nobody's baby mama. I never even thought like that. Like I'm very much queen energy.
Yeah.
Oh, but him, I was like, man, I'm ready to have a baby. Like, we need to have a baby. Like, my body opened up. Like, my womb was just wide open for this man. That's how I knew that he was for me. Because I ain't never thought about that for nobody else in my life. But yeah, that's what it was. It was the womb. My body told me. It was like him.
And your body will tell you. Your body tells you if that man is for you or not. Like, it literally will tell you.
Yes. So that's what happened. It was very, again, supernatural. I didn't ask no questions. And Next thing you know, we was married. We've been together ever since. So like I said, we have a very strong relationship, very grounded and very raw. So it's not patriarchal. We do not have a old school relationship. It's just new. It's a new age relationship. I really want my relationship to be a example for younger women to see that they can get what they want and they don't have to settle for what they don't want. You because when you love yourself, and especially if you're older, like 25 and up, you really have that discernment and you have sovereignty. So you don't have to get with some old, ugly, rich dude because he got some money. You can have some money. You can have some money. You can have a dream. You ain't got to get with him because he got a dream. You can have a dream.
Hello.
Both of y'all can be dreaming together. Like that's how me and him are. Like we both got dreams and goals and all that stuff.
And you know, some women, you know, it's their prerogative. Like some of us are working women that want to work, and you know, but some of them, you know, they don't want to work. And
true,
I understand that. If you don't want to work and you just want to marry an ugly rich man, cool. But you can have it all. Like you can work, have a rich man still, and you can have it all. It's not impossible, you know.
It's not. And what I will say, everything comes with the price. Everything comes with the price. Ain't nothing free. So if you find yourself in a position where you getting with a rich one, an older man who got some money, and whatever you're doing, because I know the girls are talking a lot about that kind of content online.
Yeah,
everything has a price. So don't think that you're getting away scotch free. You're gonna have to pay in the form of something, whether it's your womb, your time, your sanity, your body, your friends, your social life, your family. You're gonna have to give in order to receive. Ain't nothing free.
You will pay. You
gotta pay. Now, some women are okay with paying certain prices, but everything come with a price, including me. I have to pay because I'm with somebody. He's fine. I'm fine. Like we got a good, you know, we look good, but we're both young. We're both young in our being. So, you know, we kind of grew together in our marriage, and we're both no kids, never been married. So he ain't somebody baby daddy, and I'm not somebody baby mama. We coming in this completely clean. It's like we're like very teenager kind of love story. But what does that come with? Well, we both got to learn each other. We're kind of growing together. So he don't have a baby mama who taught him how to take care of a woman. He got to take care of his kids. It ain't nothing like that. We learning together. But yeah, you got to pay. What you was finna say something?
Yeah, I actually was gonna say, when we talked about you have to pay. So I've seen so many stories where, okay, so say you marry an ugly rich guy, right? Yes, you have everything you want, but it's like okay, this is how you get respected in that. So if you're one of those women who don't have anything, you don't have any money, and he's paying for everything, men can sometimes treat you a certain way just because they are paying all the bills. They kind of treat you, I can't explain it, but I've seen it a lot. And then, but if you have your own money and they know you can leave at any second, and they know you're not really dependent on them, they just take care of you, that's a whole different story. They do not treat you like that. So I will always say, just keep your own money. Even if you do want to marry, keep your own money. Keep your own way out.
Have your business. Have something going for yourself. Because we are in the new world, and that's the evolved woman, right?
Yeah.
Like she can, like the Proverbs 31 woman. She sold silk. Yeah. She wasn't just sitting around chilling. She was selling silk, oils. She knew how to get to her bag or her feminine bag. Yeah. So yeah, we're all, that's called empowerment. You got to empower yourself now. And you can't be sitting around just not being empowered. Yeah. You know, and that's why I've seen. Go ahead.
Let me ask you, because I'm picking up different things, but I want to ask you, what are you into? Like, what are your practices? Are you Christian? Are you?
Oh, on the record. So I grew up a Christian. I grew up in the church, not heavy, not like every day, but I'm from Alabama. Okay. Everybody was at the church. So I grew up in the church.
Baptist?
And, Baptist. But again, not very like gotta go here, gotta go there. But I did grow up
Yeah.
in a Baptist black, good old Southern Black Baptist church. And it wasn't until I would say around 2018, 2019, where I started to wake up in my practice and my beliefs. Meaning I realized that, okay, there's more to this story.
Yeah.
In 2012, so rewind, in 2012 when I moved to Atlanta, that's when I started practicing more spirituality and less religion. So I got into Eckhart Tolle, I got into Abraham Hicks, different spiritual teachers. There's a guy named Seven Bomar who's here on YouTube. You know Seven?
Yes.
Girl, yes. So Seven Bomar was one of my first esoteric teachers. And I was studying him. I was like 22, 23, but I fell in love with his teachings. I was like, okay, I'm awake, I'm waking up. And then I got into spirituality and African spirituality. So I'm Nigerian. My dad is Nigerian and my mom's American, but I grew up in an American household. But what did you say earlier? It's in your blood, lineage. And so now, ever since I say 2018, 2019, I don't identify as a Christian anymore because I believe in more. There's more to the story. There's more to our gifts, our talents, our spirituality. And so while I love the message of Christianity, which is there is Christ consciousness, that's what I believe and follow. It's the Christ consciousness. But I believe that, and I do read the Bible. I think the Bible is a very magical, esoteric book filled with so much knowledge and wisdom. And information, but it was written from the lens of patriarchy that pretty much hated women and treated women like vessels for men. And there was no power for the feminine in churches or in the Bible, the way that it was taught to us growing up. And so fast forward, I'll say 2020, I had a real, true spiritual awakening when I realized that I am a goddess made in the image of God. Ye are gods. We are the creators, co-creating our life experience with the Most High. Yeah. And so now, fast forward, I say ever since like 2018 to now, definitely more so in spirituality and higher graduation from church, which is so funny to me. It's like, why can't you graduate from church? Like, what's after church? What's after Christianity? Nothing. So I have graduated from the initial concept of what it means to be a believer. And now I am in, I would say, spirituality. I practice African spirituality and, affirmations, like universal spirituality. Like I'm into the stars and cosmos, and I'm definitely in tune, but it has grown beyond Christianity. But growing up, I've always been tapped into the unknown and unseen. Like my grandma would tell me when I was like 5 years old, I came home from church. I was like, Grandma, I have the Holy Spirit. And now I'm going to tell you what God told me to tell you. And I've had my uncle, when he transitioned to, when he died, I say transition, I got a message from God, the Most High, that told him to tell him that he didn't have to go if he wasn't ready. I called him. I was like, oh, I got a message that the Lord told me to tell you, or the Spirit. You don't have to go if you're not ready. You can still stay here. You don't have to go if you're not ready. But he actually died like literally 2 or 3 days after that.
Wow.
And I've had multiple dreams. Like my grandmother, she's come to visit me in my dreams. Nambi, I had a dream recently. Okay, this is short, but I'm just proving that I'm a spiritual beyond this church shit. Okay, they made it sound so basic, and I just ascended way past that. But let me tell you a quick little story. I was turning in my laptop for this organization I used to work with. Not this, it's the same organization, different group. Anyway, turned in my laptop, right? Then I got I had Teams on my phone. Like Teams is like the, Microsoft Teams, which is like a software app. So I still had access to the network. And so I had got a missed call on my cell phone, but I had already turned in the laptop. So I was like, who is this calling my phone? And they called twice. So I called the number back. I was like, hey, I got a missed call from this number. And it was like she sounded like a middle-aged white woman. She was like, no, you called me. I said, this happened like 2 months ago in September. I was
Mm.
like, no, I didn't call you. Are you sure that you got a missed call? She's like, yeah, I recognize the number. I was like, nope, I don't know. I did not call your phone. And she said, is this the such and such? The name of the organization.
Oh.
And I was like, yeah, it is. She said, my husband used to work there. I was like, really? That is so strange that you would get a missed call from my phone and your husband
You.
used to work there. And this is when the spirit came in. I told you I'm very spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, so is your husband still with us? She said, no, no. I was like, oh, well, I think he just tried to reach you through me.
Mm.
This man used my frequency.
Yeah.
I'm a spiritual medium, y'all. The cat's out the bag. I'm a true medium. He literally called my phone because my frequency was in alignment high enough to where he knew that he could get to the physical realm through my spirit.
Through her.
Called my
Yeah.
phone, called twice. I did not call this woman. I did not call her. She called me back, told me her husband used to work at the organization and he died. He retired from that organization. And I said, well, he must be trying to reach you to tell you that everything's going to be okay. Because she was concerned. And she should have been, because she just got contacted by someone in the spiritual realm.
Right.
But it was done through me. And I wasn't scared. And I know I shared it on TikTok and people was like, how did you know to ask her if he was dead? I said, that was the spirit.
Mm-hmm.
The spirit told me that he was dead and that she needed confirmation that everything was okay because she called back. Then she called twice. And Nambi, guess what time she called? 1:11.
Oh, girl.
A whole angel number.
Girl. You know
Yeah.
what? We here. Like your life sounds like my life. Like you're here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why you're here. And that's why I knew we had to talk. So thank you for asking the question. But do I believe in the spirit? Absolutely. I know that there is a God. We are in the presence of God right
Yes.
now.
Mm-hmm.
Is the goddess energy, the creator energy, the most high energy is now. But they told a story about a man named Jesus. The story was told, but the context and the spirit have to be activated through the story. Only through activation of the soul will you seek out the wisdom of God. But now we're in the end times. We're like in the book of Revelation, where we're all being judged by our own higher selves, right?
Yes.
We are,
Mm-hmm.
ye are gods. So I think all of us collectively are experiencing our own personal spiritual battles
We are.
that are causing you to make a choice. Are you going to be with the most high or the most low? And you'd be surprised how much stuff is tied to evil. It's a lot of practices and things in normal society that's really tied to evil that we just didn't
Absolutely.
know. Right? Would you agree?
Absolutely. And you know what? When it comes to that belief, I feel like, like some people, they call themselves God, which I understand, because you are a part of that.
Right.
It's in you. It's literally in you. But what people are not understanding is there is the higher power, which is God, which I don't think it's a person,
Yep.
but it's an energy. But it's everything. It's all things. And then
Yes.
since we came from those things, that's how we became a piece of God, or we are it because it's in us.
Yes.
But I just think that your story, oh my God, it sounds like mine. Like just growing up as a kid, I always was so questionable in church, and I'm like, oh, with these type of things, it's not making sense to me. What is this about? And I remember being like 8 years old, and now I don't know if I was sleepwalking or if something took over me. I don't know, but I picked up a Bible, and I was just in my bed, and I went to the kitchen and got some chocolate syrup. I don't know. And I just laid in the bed and I read that Bible the whole night. My mama found me in the morning just with the Bible open and chocolate syrup everywhere. And I'm just like, I got saved. I mean, 9 years old, saved. I remember going in the kitchen and like hearing God speaking to me. It's just so many different periods in my life where I knew it was something bigger.
Yep.
But I just had to find that, and I'm finally here in that. So
yes, and and thank you so much for asking that. I appreciate that, and it's definitely a journey. And I think what we're seeing now in the age of Aquarius, because again, I grew up, like I said, I grew up from Alabama, but even when I moved to Atlanta, I was a part of this women's ministry. Like I've always been for the girls. Okay, this is my whole being. And so I helped build this Christian ministry here in Atlanta. Like it was called Saved in the City. Shout out to the girls. Like we've been on the mission this whole time. But I'm not gonna lie, when I got alone, it's not until you get in your own solitude, in my solitude, where you can actually get to know yourself, your ways, the practices, like things that are for you. Just like that's why TikTok is so far, because it's for you. Like what's on your page is on your page. It's not on the next person's page. And in the age of Pisces, we could all go to church. We all love the Lord. We all follow the white man Jesus. And and it's just not, it don't give what it needs to give in 2024. And what's happening now, we're actually going through an evolution of spirituality. Like we're in a new relationship with spirituality. It's like a new religion. And I hope that the people are ready for what is happening on the planet, because the angels and demons are always fighting for us in the unseen world. But now we're about to be confronted with the demonic energies and spirits that have had our whole world in a chokehold. When you know how they say, oh, they on demon time, and we're going to be seeing the demons in the flesh, and you're going to have to see if you can fight the demon or if you're going to let them beat your butt. And if they win, then you lose. And I ain't going to lie, what I told you about earlier, when I had to pick a side, that's what I felt like I was in. I was in a spiritual battle in my...
Hold on, because... I was literally over here in my head like, yeah, the people got to pick a side. And you just said, you know, when I said pick a side, I'm like, oh my God.
Yes. Gotta pick a side. My husband, he's a music artist and he got some great music. One of his songs is called Hasselhoff Mask Off. Jump about the space coupe. Real soon, we're going to see who's who. Take that mask off. Take that mask off. I don't know yourself, your ass. Work my ass off. Meaning, at some point, you're gonna have to take the mask off and be like, "This is me." And you, and then even in your own life, you're gonna have to look in the mirror. See, I got a mirror. It's a cute mirror, right? You're gonna have to look in the mirror and be like, "Who am I? Am I of God, or am I still serving Satan? Am I still serving demonic spirits that are holding me down?" Or am I going to rise up to the occasion and just be who God has called me to be, which is essentially operating in your gifts and your purpose.
Right.
But
and
girl,
I was smiling the whole time because you knew his lyrics. That was just so cute.
Oh yeah, that's my song. but it's so supernatural. And I just hope whoever's watching this, y'all know me. If you know me, like that's how real this shit got so real that I even had to have my own self-reflection conversation. And Nambi, I thought that I was pretty, especially back when I was like super Christian. Like I used to go to Martin Luther King church, girl. Like I was all for girl, yes, I was all up in that thing. So I thought that I was a good Christian girl, a good, whatever. But no, you got to peel them layers off. That ain't nothing but a layer of yourself that you're using.
Religion is literally you just growing up into whatever you were taught. And it's a big holdback on who you're really supposed to be. It's the biggest holdback ever. It is.
So. It is. And I think that's why we met, because we vibrated higher. We decided to keep going up. keep going up, but in the feminine, it's actually to keep going down into yourself. Like you are the rabbit hole, girl. So what else you gonna find? And I sometimes when I do that work, like the shadow work, or let's just say deep dive into myself, you know who I'll see? I'll see my sister, my actual sister, and I'll go visit her. Then I'll see my mother. I'll see my mother-in-law. I've had a dream about my mother-in-law before in the spirit realm. I've seen a whole different version of her, and I was like, who is this? But that's the version of her that's within herself.
Yeah.
And so I have those kind of supernatural gifts to be able to just share that level of femininity with the world. And it goes so far beyond a cute little dress. But now I love a dress now. But we got to dig a little deeper. And Nambi, the work that you're doing is helping us do that. I ain't never been this open on air. I've reached a new milestone. Oh my God.
I love it though. I love it. It's so open and it's so real. And I think that's what people need to see. And it's a lesson for me too, because I'm not the most open person. As a Virgo, I'm very private. Very private. Even if you go on my page, you don't know what's going on in my life, really.
Yeah.
So I think just hearing you speak and stuff, it's making me like, you know what, I should be more open.
Yeah.
You know? So I really appreciate you just being open with me and accepting me on this page. And it's a beautiful podcast you have.
Thank you, Nambi. And like I said, you unlocking parts of me that weren't there, but I couldn't access. Why couldn't I access this level of conversation? Nambi, let me be honest with you. You are the youngest guest I've had on the show. Youngest guest I've had on the show. So this is a milestone right here. And I manifested you. I didn't know nothing about your age or where you was in med school, but I told my husband a while ago, I was like, all right, I want to bring in some young girls. Like I need to hear what the younger girls, because we're all together. So I realized I've talked to a lot of women, my senior, some women my age. I was like, okay, I need to reach the younger audience. I want to see what they got going on. So shout out to you for being my first or the youngest guest on the show. And through our conversation, I've been able to tap in to the version of me that is unfiltered, which is who I'm going to be all the time now. Remember, I did a ritual.
Now this phone is on 1%, so I'm gonna
turn the camera off so y'all. This is cool. Like I said, hold on, we're gonna wrap it up, y'all, because we just said everything we could have possibly said. Nambi Nine, I'm gonna tag all of your information in the description. Any last words before we head out?
My last words would be: me and you are gonna be friends. We are already friends, but we here.
Okay, y'all saw it first. It's the most organic, I feel like, a milestone on the show. I'm Goddess Giselle. This is the Goddess Giselle podcast, episode 12, and we're wrapping up because we're running out of the battery, but we would have kept it going. Y'all be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, follow. Love y'all. Keep the vibration up. This is the Divine Feminine Energy, a safe space for women making an impact in their communities. With that being said, I'll talk to y'all next time. Bye.
Bye.